Hello and welcome back to the Pixel Street podcast. This is episode 241 of the show. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Joel, and joining me is the employed man himself, John Hanson. I don't know if you can say where you're working yet, but you got a job.
I got a job. I haven't announced it yet. I think I'm okay to, but I don't know. Just to be safe, I'm gonna hold off on it.
Next week, he'll
Yeah,
announce it next week.
very exciting uh, stuff that I'm gonna be doing for about the next year. It's just a contract, but not
Cool.
like a forever job. But still, it's very exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk more about it once you get into it. I'm just curious the ins and outs of it all, but we'll talk about that
Hmm.
in the future. Today we are going to talk about Starfield. Reviews go up tomorrow morning. That is Thursday morning, 8/31/2023. So they may already be out by the time you're listening to this. But yeah, reviews are going out. So there's some we have seen on the internet, some articles being written about the game, about certain aspects of it. PlayStation Plus is getting a price increase, and Call of Duty is getting an AI powered voice chat moderation system. So yeah, before we get into that, let's tell you where you can go find us on the internet. On Twitter, we are, or X, I guess. John, that's a very weird thing. Is like I don't have Photoshop anymore, and I
Yeah,
used Canva. And in Canva, there's a thing that's like, oh, you want to bring in, because I had to remake the whole template for the video. It's like, oh, do you
hmm,
want to bring in social media like logo? And I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And it's like, all right. And I typed in Twitter, and it was just the X logo. They didn't have the
yeah,
bird anymore. It was just the X logo. So
makes
now, if
sense.
you're watching on YouTube, you can see just the X logo. It's gonna take a lot of getting used to.
I'm gonna call it Twitter forever,
Yeah, exactly.
probably.
You can find us on twitter.com or x.com at Pixel Street. Check out our pinned tweet there where you can find an invite to join our Discord server. Come hang out. I posted some pictures from playing Pokemon Go over the weekend. I'm excited to talk about that later in the podcast. Um, yeah. Or on YouTube, youtube.com/slash Pixel Street Videos. And that's where you can go and watch this show live as we record it every Wednesday or Thursday night. Kind of depends on how our week is going because we're just a couple dudes podcasting when we feel like it. Um, yeah, we also have some unboxings, let's plays, and all that good stuff up there. We should do Texas Chainsaw Massacre let's play, even if it's just the two of us playing with randos. I
I'm
think
down.
that could be a good time.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that does it. Let's get into the main topics, John. The main topic of the show this week is Starfield, and the planets will have boundaries. This is news to me. I didn't know about this until you posted it. Personally, I kind of like it, just because, like me and you had talked before about how what we didn't like about what we had seen of the game is the No Man's Sky aspect of it, where it's like, oh,
Mhm.
go scan all this shit, you know. And in No Man's Sky, you can literally, I think, adventure and like check out an entire planet, and like that's just like realistically, you don't need to be able to do that in No Man's Sky to get everything you need from a planet.
I don't want
Um,
to do that.
yeah, exactly. I don't want to do that either. That's why I kind of like that there will be boundaries. I'm curious how big those boundaries are on each planet. Granted, they did say
Hmm.
only 10% of planets are gonna have like life on them, right? Was
Hmm.
that what it was?
Something like that.
So
Yeah.
I imagine majority of these planets are just gonna be to go and get resources for crafting or building. You know,
Probably.
like
Yeah.
getting metal or something. I don't know.
Upgrading your ship and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. They're first off, let's Starfield. The whole discussion around this game right now is kind of unbearable because it's the whole console war thing. It is going insane. People on both sides just like being ridiculous, and like I'm ready for this game to come out just so we can stop hearing about what people are saying from leaks. This game has been leaked so much since people got their hands on it early. Like content creators, I guess, are just not uh, sticking to the um, NDA, and they're just completely breaking embargo. So that's why stuff like this is getting out there. And it's not a good look for them, honestly, and it's not going to be great for them in the future when they try and ask for big codes like this again, I think. But yeah, for the boundaries thing, it doesn't worry me at all. We already how did they say how many planets there's going to be? Like, there's hundreds and hundreds that you're going
I
to be
think
able
they
to go
said like
to.
1,000 or
Yeah,
something around there, and they said 10% are gonna have life and stuff on it. So I assume that's 100 planets about.
yeah. So there's like people that are upset that you can't land on gas giants, which don't make sense. You would go right through them.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah, it's just like a lot of people just complaining to complain, and a lot of the stuff I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want to explore hundreds and hundreds of planets. Like I want, I'm already not gonna put my life into this game, but I plan on playing quite a bit of it. But I just don't see any scenario where I'm like, yeah, I want to explore every single crevice of this planet. Like I no, that's not something I want to do. So I'm okay with the boundaries. Um, yeah, I'm not too
yeah.
fussed about it at all.
I'm in a very similar mindset. Like I'm not gonna play the game to check out every nook and cranny of everything possible. I think for me the main thing I want to see is like I want to see good gameplay and I want a good story. Like those are the two main things I'm looking forward to playing this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not trying to like granted I'll build a ship probably because there's going to be a mission revolved around it. But I'm not going to sit there, after every mission, check out everything I got, see like, oh, I can go do this thing and get this part for my ship and it'll make it look like this. Like that's not what I'm here to play the game for. Granted, like this may change, right? Like
Yeah.
it may work out in a way to where I enjoy doing that kind of stuff, but just based on Bethesda's track record with games in terms of like Fallout, like the base building and stuff is just not stuff I'm into. I
Yeah.
just go from like literally I think that in Fallout 4 they make you like set up your little home right on that main street when you start the game. I don't think I touched that thing. The only time I upgraded it is when like a quest made me build a workbench or maybe I wanted a gun. But like I wasn't going out of my way to go get the materials for the gun. I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, oh, I have the stuff to make a better gun. I'm gonna do it. Like I'm not
Yeah.
gonna go explore. Like granted, I get like there's probably a lot of people that want that. It is a fucking game based out of space, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that No Man's Sky kind of set a precedent that like it's endless in a way to where like
Yeah.
I don't know because like No Man's Sky is pretty endless, right? Like there are thousands and thousands of planets, and every
Yeah.
planet has something on it. And I think that that's kind of what people wanted from Starfield is like every planet to have stuff on it, but it's just not reasonable with the kind of games that Bethesda makes.
Yeah, with how big the game already is going to be and how many different features are working in it, as well as just the graphical quality of the game, which is much better than No Man's Sky. Like all of this working together was never going to work in Starfield. Like that's we're just not at that point. We probably won't be for a while longer. Um, but also like I just don't care. Like I space. I don't want to explore space, honestly. Like, let's just say that. Like, I don't want to explore procedurally generated planets. Like, you're not. If a development team isn't going in there and meticulously crafting these planets, like, I don't want to explore them all. The Outer Worlds. I love those planets. I love exploring that area. That is stuff that uh, Obsidian like went into, and they built all this stuff by hand. And they're like, yeah, you can go to this district on this planet. There's also a village over here. There's this area with all these
And
bandits
again,
and
there
stuff.
are boundaries, right? Like it's not like endless.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't just explore the whole planet. It's like, all right, I'm teleporting to this part of the planet, and once you land there, you have a map of that area that you can explore.
Yeah, exploring something made by AI is just not fun. It gets very old and very boring.
And repetitive. In No Man's
Yes.
Sky, it's crazy how many different planets you can go to and just see the same shit on every one.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
But yeah,
I'm okay
I'm
with the news.
Yeah, I'm cool with the news. I'm super excited, John. I got the headset on right now. I got the controller sitting here somewhere, right here, and I am fucking ready for 7 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow to jump in to Starfield. I'm so pumped. Kind of Funny is doing like a streamathon of the game starting tomorrow morning at like 10 a.m. Central Time, I think, where they're just gonna start and Snowbike Mike is gonna keep playing the game. Um, as long as like donations are coming in or something like that is what they base it off of. So, or no, are they doing that Friday? I don't know. Either way, super exciting. Can't wait to play it tomorrow. They did actually Kind of Funny had the that skin that goes around the Xbox
Hmm.
um, for like a collector's edition type thing. It's a really cool design in terms of like functionality and how it fits on the Xbox, how it just wraps around and just kind of velcros to the back. I think that that's really smart. It's a smart way of them getting around having to create a whole new collector's edition console just to have a skin on it.
Hmm.
And the Starfield one looks really cool. The two other ones that are coming out that are both camo, they're really lame looking. Um, but the Starfield one's awesome, and I expect them to do stuff like that going forward. Like with Forza, maybe they come out with a Halo one in the future if Halo's not dead
Hmm.
by then. Um, I don't know. Hellblade probably would get one because they'll
Yep.
probably have a big marketing push for that. But yeah, super cool stuff. Can't wait to see Starfield reviews in the morning. Where do you think this sits? I know we've talked about this a bunch, but now that like you've seen some stuff, I've been pretty dark on the whole thing. I've been staying away from like news outlets just in general because I don't want to get spoiled on certain things. Um, where do you think this game is going to end up? And I know going into the game, we have been saying like this game needs to be great, right? Like Xbox needs a really big win. I think this has to like review at like a 90 or higher for them to consider it like a turning of the tide for Xbox in a way. But where do
Hmm.
you think it sits?
Um, just I haven't played the game at all. I haven't seen anything outside of leaks. Haven't talked to the person that's reviewing the game for Game Sandwich. Like I haven't looked at Starfield at all. So this is just a pure guess. But I would just to throw out a Metacritic score when everything is said and done. I would guess it'd probably be just under 90. Let's say 87, 88. Because at the end of the day, I think it's just Fallout in space. Like I don't know if that's going up against something like Tears of the Kingdom and Baldur's Gate 3 that have just completely taken over this year among so many other just really great releases. I just don't see this being like a firm game of the year contender. Like it's going to be great. People are going to love it. They're going to put hundreds of hours into it. It's going to be in the discussion for various awards at the end. I just don't see it being the top dog. I just don't see a situation where that happens.
Like, and to be fair, this will be people's game of the year, no doubt. And
Yeah.
that's just because like people have different genre preferences, right? Like, for
Yeah.
instance, I will probably like this game a lot more than I don't know. John will like Super Mario Wonder. You know what I mean? It's just because like this is the kind of game I prefer. That's the kind of
Mm-hmm.
game he prefers, and like that's not
Yes.
100% true all the time, but that is the case. I am looking at IMDb, John, or not. I'm looking at Metacritic, not IMDb, just to see what like previous Fallout games have scored, because I think that's probably a good indication of where this will lie. One thing I hate about Metacritic is it separates it by like console or like PC.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wish that it was just like over time it was just like here's Fallout 4 and here's like the average of the three.
Yeah, they do need like a combining
Yeah,
of
like
them.
I get why it's separate
It makes
because
sense to separate them. Yes,
like
but
when the game comes out it runs differently on different consoles or PC.
mm-hmm.
Fallout 4, let's see, on PC it got an 84. I saw oh god, Fallout 76 got a 52. We're not going to talk about
That
that.
doesn't surprise me.
Um I saw
Well,
the
hold up. Think
the
about just Fallout 4. That game came out in what, 2014, 2015? Like it's been a long
2015.
time. It's been a long time since that game came out. Is an 85 back then gonna get any better today? Like, they really need to
Here's
impress with
here's the thing
Starfield.
about Metacritic, how we were saying different consoles have different scores. 84 is the critic review on Metacritic. For PS4, it's an 87, and for Xbox One, it's an 88. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, which one is it, right? It's somewhere
Yeah.
in the middle of all those. I wish that they had a combined score. As like, this is, the average of them all. For instance, Fallout 3, 91 for PC. That was a great game, though, right? 90 on
Yeah.
PS3 and
And
93 on Xbox 360.
and when did that game come out? That was like
08,
2007, 8. Yeah. So like
2008.
I'm sure Starfield is gonna impress, and a lot of people are gonna love it. Like I said, hundreds of hours are gonna be put into it. It's gonna be a great game, no doubt, 100%. Especially if Bethesda shores up the bugs and stuff like they've been promising that they've been doing. Um, but yeah, I really would be surprised if Starfield comes out and it's over a 90. I think that anywhere between 85 to 89, I think, is where we're gonna end up seeing this sit.
Yeah, I agree with that, but like from Xbox's standpoint, for them mentally, they're probably like, this has to be a 90 plus, or in our eyes, it's like not as big of a success, right? And like the thing that I hate about it too is like this technically isn't fully an Xbox exclusive. Like technically it is, but also it's like, all right, Microsoft bought the company. Like they were in talks to make this a PlayStation exclusive game at one point.
Mm-hmm.
It's just funny to me that it's like they bought it and like this truly is like the whole game wasn't made under Xbox's wing, right? Probably a larger sum of it was made before Xbox was even had their hands on it than what we're
Fair.
getting tomorrow. John will be right back, which means I have to kill time. So let's talk about Fallout 76. Metacritic review scores for the PS4, it is at a 53. For the PC, it's at a 52, and for the Xbox One, Fallout 76 is at a 49 on Metacritic. This game, I've talked about it so many times in the past. I was so pumped for this game, right? Multiplayer Fallout. Like it's all I ever wanted, right? Like in Fallout 4, I love playing the game, but the lack of multiplayer in that game was what I disliked about it. And Fallout 76 having multiplayer, I was so pumped. I pre-ordered the fucking collector's edition. I was like, "Oh, cool!
Oh no,
I'm gonna get a
we're back on
helmet.
this story.
I'm gonna get a fucking poster. I'm gonna get these little army figure guys. I still have all of it, and it's like, oh yeah, and you're gonna get this cool looking fucking like knapsack thing." I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, like that little knapsack. Its only purpose is to store the helmet in. Like, okay, cool, I'll take it. And then what comes in the mail, John? This shitty, flimsy ass nylon knapsack. Elise
Yeah.
starts using it as a gym bag, which I think is that was like the funniest thing to me. Is we would go to the
Mm-hmm.
gym and she would bring like her clothes and shoes in that little bag, and like probably bystanders are like, "Oh, damn, that chick is super into Fallout. Like she bought the Fallout 76 collector's edition. She's
Right.
using the bag to go to the gym." But realistically, she had no idea what it was. She's just like, "Oh, this is a practical bag for me to carry to the gym." And then that bag ripped. She was at the gym and like she tried to open it and it just ripped. And that was the problem many people were having.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from like I think the reason that they came back and gave people new actual like canvas bags is because I
There was
think
a
there was a
court order, I think.
lawsuit. Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
lawsuit that they like false advertised,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
that's why they came back and gave us new bags. But I have a new bag. It's in my basement. I wish I had, like, this is the thing, John. Like, I've been trying to buy a house. Right, we're saving money to buy a house. We've looked at houses. I need a man cave because I have so much nerd shit to where it's like it's overflowing now to my basement in my
Mm-hmm.
storage unit to where Lisa's like, no, like that's where I draw the line. You are not putting that giant fucking helmet in my living room. I was like, okay, fair enough, fair enough.
The before we move on here, the best thing for Starfield is that it's just better than Fallout 76 reception wise. and I just
Yeah.
don't see a world where it's anywhere close to how bad that was. But
Dude, if
we were talking about how bad Fallout 76 was for months when that
we
came out.
were,
Like,
dude, I'm still fucking talking about it. I'm still mad about the
yeah,
collectors buying
yeah,
the whatever 150 $200 collector's edition for the game to get a 52 on Metacritic.
yeah.
John, let's talk for like 2 minutes here. What if Starfield comes out and is reviewed at like a 70? What does this
That
mean
is
for
that is
Xbox?
for Xbox. It means nothing because what you said. This wasn't developed 100% under Xbox. It
Yeah.
was, but for Bethesda, it's a nightmare. Which I guess, in the end of the day, they are under Xbox, so that's a bit of a nightmare. But if you're just looking at Todd Howard, Pete Hines, like the Bethesda higher ups, you're looking at people that are probably losing their jobs, a lot of leadership changes, a lot of changes, because it's not just Starfield failing on such a massive scale after the Fallout 76 debacle, but it's also Redfall coming out earlier this year and being a complete failure. So that would be a
For
swing of
reference,
three
John,
games.
I'm looking up Redfall right now on Metacritic, and it's at a 56 on Xbox and a 53 on PC.
Yeah. So um, a 70 for Starfield is similar to like a 50 for Redfall, in my opinion.
I
Like
agree.
that is a complete failure because this is supposed to be a big, massive release. Regardless, I don't think it affects Xbox too much, but it will definitely have some long term effects on Bethesda. I think moving forward.
Loops is in the chat. He says, I like Fallout 76. And I agree. I like Fallout 76 now. Where it's at now is amazing. When it launched, it was fun for a few minutes. And then it just was like a buggy mess. And then he also says, no need to worry. Starfield is going to be an 88 to 92. I hope so. Like, I would love for it to review that high. Just because, like,
My
you
guess
know,
was about 87.
yeah, yeah. Me and John we're a couple Xbots over here, right? Like we mainly game on our Xboxes, so we would love a win. Um, yeah. Moving on, John. PlayStation Plus is getting a price increase. The essential tier is going from $60 to $80. The extra tier is going from $100 to $130, and the premium tier is going from $120 to $160.
Yeah, that is so.
Why?
This is
Why?
the big news for today, and this makes absolutely no sense on just about every level
They don't
because
have the
PlayStation,
content. It
they
seems
don't have
like
the content, they don't have the day one releases, they're not adding anything more to it to make this price adjustable, this price adjustment like justifiable. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, no, this makes absolutely no sense. I've seen a lot of people say, yeah, no, I'm canceling my subscription. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of broke at the moment anyway, so I was already going to cancel it. But like, a hundred, what
I
was
mean
it?
we share and I have it,
We
so
do, yeah.
you have it.
But yeah, but it's just like $160. That's insane. That though, I love that they added games like Twisted Metal finally, and like there's a lot of okay, there's not a lot, but there's some like old classic PlayStation games that I really have enjoyed downloading and playing. But you can't download PS3 games still, and we probably never will be able to. You only can stream them, and the PS1 and PS2 libraries are just thin. Like there's so many classics that are just not in there that Sony owns. Like these are Sony made games that aren't being represented in their own library.
For
This
reference,
price tag,
John, sorry. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is $17 a month, which comes out to like $204 for a year.
yeah, but Game Pass is the best deal in gaming, like we've been saying forever. Like you get those day one releases. We're gonna be playing Starfield. You got the early access. I didn't, but I'm not putting any extra money down, and I'm gonna be able to play Starfield the
In a
day it
week.
releases after
Yeah.
early access. Yeah. So like, I don't know. That Game Pass just feels like such a better deal to me. Um, I don't know. This is also just kind of. I guess this also doesn't really look good for them because they put out the upcoming free games for the month on PSN, and it's the worst month that they've had in a long time. Like they had the Saints Row reboot and a couple other games I don't even remember at the moment, and it just doesn't look good, like going back to back. And I really don't understand why we're still at a point where we have to pay to play online games, like
It
PlayStation and Xbox.
yeah.
Like,
At this
come on.
point, it just seems like another bullet point for them to have is to be like, oh, this is why we're justifying the $180 price because you get to do this, you get to play these games, you do that, and you can play online with this.
If we like, they really should just stick at the price points that they're at, and then the games that they're offering makes the price justifiable. They don't need to keep saying, "Oh, and you can play online with your friends with this." Like, just let us play online.
Yeah.
I hate it.
This is a quote from Sony's Adam Michel or Michael. I don't know how you say it. Um, he's the director of content acquisition operations. He said the increase will enable us to continue bringing high quality games and value added benefits to Plus members. I feel like that's not a good enough quote to justify the price increase. Like if they
So,
said, "Yeah, we're increasing the price, but going forward, you can play, first party games day and date or you can play first party games within, X amount of time after they release." Even, like if it's something or,
yeah,
give us a reason, like an actual reason as to
like
why the price is going up.
if this price increase was given us, let's say the Last of Us faction, Last of Us 2 factions day one, without having to like outright buy the game. Okay, yeah, that makes sense to me. I get that. Or whatever the next big release is for PlayStation. What is their next big release? Do they have anything coming up this year?
Spider-Man 2
Spider-Man. Okay, if Spider-Man 2 was available on PSN
day and date.
Plus, boom, that 100% makes the price increase worth it.
I
Boom,
agree.
you're done. But without them giving that reason, um, yeah, I just don't see it right now.
It's like I may just be ignorant to the situation because I don't play on my PlayStation that much, but it seems like Xbox is going after more and more deals to get games on release date, even if it's not first party, on Game
Mm-hmm.
Pass. Like we saw with Sea of Stars coming to Game Pass yesterday, day and date. Like in it, I feel like I
Well,
just
it's
never
not even
hear of
just
that.
that. But it's not even just that. It's like big AAA games, Back for Blood
Yeah,
and Exoprimal. Like those are, yeah, they're not like barn burners
Texas
for.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
there's some big games that get to be released on Game Pass day one, and you don't see that on PS Plus. If we got that, then I could understand the price increase. But without any changes being announced right now, it just doesn't make sense from a consumer
it,
standpoint.
it it really makes me wonder, like, how much is Xbox actually profiting off this, right? Like, what if I'm sure they're making a profit off of Game Pass, but what if like the margins are very very small just so that they can get more and more people into the service?
My thing is just that it's not just the subscribers, it's also you there are people that buy the games at the discount so they can have it forever, and then it also just brings you into their ecosystem, and then we know that's what Xbox wants. They want you to play Xbox games on your phone, your computer, your console, wherever. um, that way you're more willing to go to their store and buy a new game for that device as well.
Yeah. Um to your question of whether or not I will keep PlayStation Plus, I will tell you that I intended to cancel PlayStation Plus the last time they charged me for another year. I just didn't realize until like 2 weeks after they charged me.
Honestly, last year my republic my
Renewal?
resubscription
Yeah.
renewal thing is in October, and I got the email that I was charged for it last October. I was like, God damn it! And I went in and I canceled it there because I was like, I can't. I maybe played 5 hours online on PS Plus. Like my PlayStation 5 is my exclusive console. That's really all I
Same.
use it for. And they
Same.
just
And
don't.
it
I This might change in the future because they are making a bigger commitment to live service games and multiplayer games. So you and I might change uh, our thoughts on this in the future. But to this point, PlayStation has been such a single player focused company that it just doesn't make sense for you and I to keep giving them our money to not use it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Let's move on because we could talk about this all day. Call of Duty is implementing an AI powered voice chat moderation system. It'll listen to your conversations in real time and file reports against you if you are found to be using hate speech, harassment, or other toxic behaviors. Um, it will not outright suspend or ban you on the spot. Considering this technology works, how do you feel about it? John, how I feel about it is people are going to start making up new words to call people names, right? Like instead of just coming out and like calling somebody, a racial slur, I feel like people are just going to like play around it in a way.
There's there's always going to be people that find a way to game the system, and it's like every chat in games and everything, they have the censoring, but people find their ways around it by using other characters and stuff. Yeah, no, people are gonna find ways around it, but I do think I'm glad to see Activision and Call of Duty taking steps to fight toxicity after almost 20 years. Um,
To be fair, like I feel like the onus isn't on them to be doing this. So I feel like it's good on them to be doing this cuz
yes.
like realistically like it should be the online services that are dealing with this, whether it's Xbox,
Mhm.
PlayStation, or PC, but I mean, I don't know. Like
So lately I've been playing Black Ops 4 Zombies, and I did an Easter egg run with these three randoms, and I teamed up with them, and I gotta tell you, it's been a while since I really like played with randoms and talked with them, and this really reminded me why I don't, because these were the most toxic people I've played with in a very long
that
time. Like
sucks.
they ruined the game for me. I uninstalled it after playing with them
Wow.
because they were just so awful. Um, I really just like that kind of experience sucks. It brings everyone down. It's not good for the community. It's not good for anyone. I hate.
How depressed do you think the game developers who had to feed all this hate speech into AI are? Right, like just feed a bunch of recordings of people using hate speech to an AI, just so that it can learn to filter for these
Mhm.
things.
Apparently, also they said in their FAQ, it's just like it won't. It won't be able. It won't like. It will be able to denote when you're like being like when you're like talking smack and just like messing around with your friends, or if you're like actually being toxic. And that's kind of where my question in there, if this works, comes in, because like I just don't believe that the off of their word. Like I need to see that in action. But
Yeah, I also
I
don't want to get banned because like I'm fucking with you in a
yeah,
zombies match and it thinks that I'm like bullying you more or less.
right. Like I don't want to say, "Oh, you fucking suck, Joel," and then
To
get
be
banned.
fair, we're always using party chat when we game nowadays, so
Yeah, that is true. This is only in-game chat. Also, they did say though that people will be reviewing it before they hand out bans and everything, so that's good. This system doesn't like outright ban you right away. It will just make a report. Someone will look it over, and if they find that you're being shitty or just a down low human, bye. So I think it has potential. I'm very happy to see it. I want more platform holders to do this, like not just like Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. I want Overwatch. I'm sure Destiny has its problem with toxic people. Like the gaming communities just have to get their shit together.
yep, completely agree. John, take us through some quick news.
All right, first up on quick news, the Super Mario Brothers Wonder Nintendo Direct is coming tomorrow to show off a bunch of stuff like they usually do when there's a big release. Uh, there are some leaks coming out saying there will be a Super Mario Red OLED Switch that will be revealed. So if you're looking for a new Switch console, look forward to that. Elder Scrolls 6 has now entered early development. So that tells me
This ain't
2029.
news. This ain't news. Get out of here.
2029.
Move on. This ain't news.
2029.
We've known the Elder Scrolls 6 is in early development for like 5 years.
No, like they're just starting to work on it. is what
Yeah,
they were saying.
I mean, they were doing something to it 5 years ago when they announced it. So
Yeah. Sonic Team's Takashi Iizuka says that he doesn't think 2D pixel art will survive in the Sonic series in the next 2 decades, and I don't believe that. But it does hurt that this pretty much means there won't be any Sonic Mania 2.
yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't Sonic Mania like super like
Yep.
popular? Like
Yeah.
that game blew
No.
up.
In my opinion, it's the best Sonic game ever. But Sonic Superstars is going for a 3D and a 2D environment thing, and it looks great. And I'm super excited for the game. But I just I just don't believe that Sega's going to completely abandon 2D art styles, especially considering how many times they've re-released the original Genesis games. Like I just don't see them
Like at
completely
least 20
abandoning it.
times over different consoles and stuff. And
That's
and different
that's
Sega
low.
Genesis packs.
Like it's got to be. I would guess the first Sonic game has to have been included in some kind of re-release form at least 50 times. Like
That's
it's
insane.
so
That's
much.
crazy.
Yeah. Phasmophobia for consoles has been delayed after a studio fire. I don't think they gave a release date still. They just said hey, we
I
had a
think
fire.
they did. Hold on.
You could look that up. Oh, actually, yes, they did. It's like, is it right
September
before
18th.
Halloween? No, okay. Alan Wake 2
September
is right
18th.
before Halloween. There we go. That's what I was thinking of. Cool. Spider-Man 2 will be at around 98 gigabytes at launch. So people are kind of freaking out. Oh, it's such a big game. Yeah, it's big. New
It's
York's big.
also the first Insomniac game to only be on PS5. So, well, not Insomniac, I guess, because Ratchet and Clank, but
Project,
first
yeah.
Spider-Man game to only be on PS5. So I'm sure that has something to do with it.
Yeah, on PS4 it'd probably be like what 130, I'd guess.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yep. All
No
right,
idea.
that's what you've been playing, Joel.
Um, Final Fantasy 16. I'm like right at the end of the game now. I've done like all the side quests. I've done all the monsters on the monster board. Um, I'm think I'm going into like the last mission of the game, so I'm hoping. Fuck, I don't even know. When am I gonna have time to beat that? Maybe I'll play it tonight. Um, I want to beat it
Got
because
to
I
get
know
on that.
like yeah, I'm gonna be playing Starfield. Fuck, I gotta beat it tonight.
You gotta beat it
I
tonight.
gotta boot my
Time to
PlayStation up.
mainline it. Time to
Uh,
mainline it.
I've done all the side stuff. All I gotta do is finish the game. At least I'm pretty sure I've done all the side quests. Um, I know I've done all the side quests I can do up until this point, and like the way the story is going right now, it seems like I'm going into the last mission of the game. So we'll see. So yeah, I'm gonna finish that up. Hopefully before tomorrow, when Starfield comes out.
All right. So I finished up Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, and I think the last time I talked about this, I said that there is some like Ace Attorney vibes to this,
Yeah.
and 100% I stick by that. Like I went through the finish, and there's like so many like twists and turns along the way. Joel, you know how much I love the Ace Attorney games, and Ghost Trick Phantom Detective is brilliant. It's a great puzzle game, and I enjoyed the story so much. I will say, very annoyed at the achievements. So I went through and I got all the side achievements and completed the game and everything. There's there's two achievements that I don't have, and I don't plan on ever getting them. One is just get all the other achievements essentially, but there's one that you have to complete all of these puzzles in it. And I was like, oh, okay. So I saw after I beat the game that a new section unlocked in the menu. You have to complete 3 5x5 sliding puzzles to get the last achievement I need. And I'm just like, no, fuck this. I hate sliding puzzles. I
There's
cannot
not a
do them.
guide. Is it randomly generated or
I
like is
think
there
it's
a
randomly
guide?
generated. I looked it up and I couldn't find a guide. It was
Huh.
just like the guide I said was like the guide I looked up wasn't even a guide. It was just like, can you make your way through these sliding puzzles? And I'm like, the fuck are you doing? Yeah, so I've never been able to do sliding puzzles, and yeah, I just gave up. I'm like, fuck it. Highly recommend playing through it though if you like story games. If you're a
Yeah,
Capcom fan, if
I don't
you're an
think that
Ace
game's for
Attorney
me.
fan, probably not, but other people it will be. I've also been playing Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is probably the game I've been playing the most recently. Um, and this is probably my biggest surprise of the year so far for me because I didn't really have any expectations for it. Like, I was like, oh, okay, it'll probably just be like Dead by Daylight. And I like Dead by Daylight, I've played a lot of it. But going into it, there's just I'm not a horror fan. Me and Joel have talked about this plenty of times. We're not horror fans. I've never seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. I never will. Although now, because I've been playing this, I've been getting TikTok algorithm into like horror things, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre clips and stuff. And I'm like, no, I don't want this. um, but like, I didn't know that it was a whole family ordeal. I thought it was just Leatherface that was just
Yeah,
like cutting
that's what we all
people up.
thought. Like me, you,
Yeah,
Jerica, Adam. That's what we all
yeah,
thought going. Kenny even. We all thought it was just the
yeah.
one dude.
Yeah, but no, apparently it's like a whole bunch of crazy people. Um, as for the game itself, I like that there's various ways to escape. I like that it is randomized as well, like placements and everything. I wish there was a little more randomization in there because it seems that most important items only spawn in like one of two or three areas. So I think people have been able to just. I've seen
Camp.
some videos of people just escaping like super fast because they know where everything is. So that kind of sucks. But
Yeah.
no, the game's really fun. I think it's fun playing as a victim and the family. I enjoy both sides, and I think the reason for that is because the family you are working as a team. It's not the 4-on-1 thing like I know you were talking about when we played the other week. With the others, it's just like it's so good to not feel like you're being teamed up on, even though you are the apex predator in the area. Like they can't
Yeah.
really do much against you. It's just knowing that you have other people to rely on to help you take down the victims is makes it a lot more approachable um, from a killer standpoint. So in that area, I really enjoy it. The game's very buggy still, though. I've seen quite a few things. Like there was one game where I was playing as the family, and a Leatherface in our game got stuck in the walls and couldn't move, so we were
Huh.
instantly down 4-2, and
Yeah.
I think we only got like one kill, so that sucked. Yeah, so just things like that. I'm sure those will be taken care of with time. I don't know how long I'll be playing this. I don't think this game's gonna have as long legs as Dead by Daylight does because Dead by Daylight, even though it's very simple, it's fix the generators, escape, or the killer puts everyone on a hook, and that's really all that game is over and over again. The collaborations and just bringing in new
Yeah.
content constantly, new
New
characters to play
enemies.
as, like they're bringing in the Alien franchise right now. It might already be out actually. That's a big get. Like that's gonna bring people back, then make people want to play it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you and I didn't even know that there were other people besides Leatherface. Like even if they add on to the family and the victims, like is that really going to be enough for someone like you and I to go back into this game, let's say 3 months down the road when we're not playing it anymore? I don't really think so. But that shouldn't take away from it being a legitimately well made game. So,
Yeah. It's another one of those games that I won't play alone, but like I've had fun playing it with you and other people that we've played with. So
mm-hmm.
I would definitely hop back in, especially around Halloween time. I feel like that'd be a cool game to play.
Yeah, for sure.
I've also played Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go Fest was this past weekend, on Saturday and Sunday, and it was more of the usual Pokemon Go Fest stuff where you get new research tasks, go catch a bunch of Pokemon, walk around a bunch, do a bunch of raids, that kind of thing. And then Sunday was mainly um, raid focused. So Saturday there was 4 different waves of Pokemon, and it would switch out every hour. So the first 4 hours were 4 different waves of Pokemon, and then the fifth hour it started from the first hour again. So it kind of went back, which I kind of prefer because in Pokemon Go Fest and Pokemon Go events in the past, it's almost felt like I had to play the game the whole day, whereas
Mhm.
this was like I felt like I only had to play for like 4 hours. Which was nice because realistically, I don't want to be walking around outside for 8 hours a day, right? Like you
Especially
get
with how
fucking
hot it
tired.
was recently.
It was actually really nice this weekend. It was really nice. But
Imagine if
yeah,
it was
and
like a week earlier though, when it was like 100 out. Ugh.
oh yeah, that would suck. Um, and then Sunday was raid heavy. In Rayquaza, Mega Rayquaza was the big raid um, that kept popping up everywhere, and I probably did like 25 Rayquaza raids and didn't get a shiny one time. But then I left Saturday I was over in Naperville, which is a suburb, the downtown area there, and then this on Sunday I was like, I don't want to drive that far, so I just went to the zoo, like the Lincoln Park Zoo in the city here, because that's where a lot of people play Pokemon Go, and it's a free zoo, so you can just walk in and out as much as you want. Um, and I did a bunch of raids over there, and then I was finally like, all right, I'm gonna call it a day. Like I was out there walking around for like 4 hours straight, and I just didn't want to be outside anymore. I wanted to come home and get some stuff done. And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna leave. So I left, got in my car, started driving home, and like the zoo's pretty long, like it's a pretty big zoo. And I was driving down the street the zoo's on, and there was a Rayquaza raid, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna pull over right here off the side of the road and do this raid real quick. Joined the raid, did it, and I got the shiny Rayquaza right there. And I was like, oh my god, it was meant to be, because like I was literally gonna leave without this thing, and had I caught that shiny Rayquaza like earlier, I would have left like 2 hours before I did. The only thing that was keeping me
Mhm.
around was waiting to do a raid and potentially catch the shiny Rayquaza. Um, the only downside is like the raids were popping up at the beginning of every half hour. So it's like if you were in like where I was, there was like 4 Pokemon gyms around, and of those 4, only one of them was a Rayquaza raid every half hour. So it was like I would do the raid, and then I would have to walk like 3/4 of a mile to go to some other ones, and then do a raid there, and then walk back. It was a lot of walking. I wish that they were spawning more often than every half hour, because like me and there was a bunch of other people playing. Like we were all just kind of standing around, sitting around, waiting for the raids to pop. Um, but yeah, I had fun. I always enjoy Pokemon Go Fest because like it helps you realize how many people actually play that fucking game, because like
Mhm.
in like it's not even young people playing the game. Like yeah, there were a few like younger kids, but they were with their parent who is like my age or a little older also playing the game. So clearly they're like influenced by their parent to play the game. Um, like I walked past like a gaggle of old ladies. Like there was like 4 or 5 ladies that were like in their 60s or 70s all playing. It's like it's crazy how many people are into this. And
Yeah,
yeah, I just
no,
that's
it's
I love
huge.
Pokemon Go Fest for that reason alone. Just because like, it's not often that you hang out and talk to people that are like into something like that, especially around our age.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. This is actually the first year in probably like 4 years or so that I would say I haven't touched Pokemon Go. I just haven't really thought of it. Um,
I play every
I
day.
even was I was even offered a code for Pokemon Go Fest and just never played it.
Really,
Yeah.
and you should have
Uh,
done it.
actually was planning on it, but I forgot. They offered me a code last week. They're like, "Hey, you want to participate in Pokemon Go and write about it?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I should probably do that, huh? That would be good for Game Sandwich." And completely forgot. Oh well. Yeah. My daughter though, she her 11th birthday was earlier this month, and she got a cell phone, and I just set her up with her
Nice.
own Pokemon Go account. So who knows? Maybe I'll get back into it at that point. But yeah.
Love to see it.
Hmm.
Another game
Uh,
we've both been playing is Sea of
yes.
Stars, John. I've played like I want to say an hour and a half to 2 hours maybe. So like I'm just through some tutorial stuff.
Mm.
I think I'm still technically in the tutorial in a way. Um,
What
but
what
basically,
what
beginning of the
happened?
game, you start out. I don't know. You guys are talking. You're like, oh man, I really wish that didn't happen with Garl. And then it went to a
Mm.
flashback to where you're kids,
Yeah.
and there's three of you, and Garl's the third
I'm
kid.
I'm right after the flashback. Like the flashback just ended is where I'm
Yeah,
at.
same. That's where I'm at. Like
Yeah.
you do your training in the tutorial, and then you leave, and then
Yep.
that's where I started. That's where I left
Yep.
off.
When you get Garl into the party. So yeah, I don't know how well he plays, but no, this game is really impressive. This game's made by the same people that made The Messenger, which is a completely different game.
Yeah,
Apparently it's set in the same universe. I never played it, so I don't know if there's
it
any.
is,
I saw that it's set in the same universe. I don't know.
huh?
I don't know like how firm it is on that area, but yeah, I this looks like a game that I could just like put maybe an hour into a night and just kind of play it as I'm relaxing.
It's only like a 20-hour long game from what howlongtobeat.com said.
Gotcha. And that's perfect for this game. I don't.
Yeah,
It doesn't need to be like a 50-hour game. Um, it plays well. I mean, it's just a turn-based RPG with Paper Mario mechanics, essentially. Super simple stuff that's really easy to get behind. So far, I like the characters and the story. Obviously, we're very much in the beginning part still, but yeah, no, I think it looks beautiful. It's very well made pixel art. Yeah, no, I'm very impressed with the game so far. This would definitely be up there again with like biggest surprises for me because I had heard nothing about this before yesterday when it released. Maybe that was just me not paying enough not paying enough attention to the indie scene. But yeah, no, I it's on PSN Plus and also Game Pass, so I highly recommend people download it and give it a try if you're in the RPGs, especially like SNES era RPGs. That's what this is very inspired by.
yeah. I'm excited to keep playing. The art style is awesome. It's I started playing it last night, and I was in a party chat with you, John, and I was gonna play, and then I was like, I want to go sit on my couch and play this, and so
It's
I
very much it's
sorry, go
just
ahead.
very much a game that I when even when I was playing it on my couch, I was like, I want to be playing this on like a handheld and just relaxing backwards. Like that's
Yes.
all I
So
want to do.
what I did is I went and I downloaded it onto my Steam Deck because I installed Windows on my Steam Deck a few months ago, and I just downloaded it there, and I've been playing it there. It looks and runs great, so that's probably where I'll play most of the game, honestly. At one point, I do want to play it on my big TV just to see what it looks like on the OLED, but
Hmm.
yeah, I'm enjoying the game. I'll definitely keep playing it. It'll be like
Yeah,
a nice side game to play.
yeah, yeah. It definitely doesn't feel like a game I'm gonna like put all my effort into at any point. But if I'm just like, oh, I got nothing that's really interesting me, I'll put this on and play like a half hour to an hour of it at a time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. All right, well, that is going to do it for episode 241 of the Pixel Street podcast. As always, you can follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street. Check out the pin tweet there where you can find an invite link to our Discord server. Come say hi, come give us topics to talk about on the show. Send us pictures of your gaming achievements. Send us videos of some cool shit you did in gaming. I posted a picture of me doing a grapple jack in Halo Infinite, I think like last week or the week before.
Yeah.
Very proud of that clip. You can also find us on YouTube, youtube.com/Pixel Street Videos, where you can watch all of our shows live, check out our unboxing videos, let's plays. Yeah. You can find me on Twitter at Campo63 or twitch.tv/Campo63. John, where are you at on the internet?
On Twitter, I am at Revic Shadows, and you can find my writing on GameSandwich.com.
We will be right back here next week with impressions from me, at least, on Starfield and episode 242 of the Pixel Street podcast.
Bye.